Welcome to the channel Global Life. In this video, we are going to discuss the top 10 European cities destroyed by overtourism. In 2024 alone, nearly 3 billion overnight stays were recorded within the European Union, with a total number of stays across the entire continent being even higher. However, this tourism boom is having serious consequences for many European destinations, with some cities and towns on the brink of being destroyed by overtourism. Happiness. Now let us begin the recording. The phenomenon is transforming vibrant urban centres into overcrowded, commercialised spaces, making it harder for residents to live in their own neighbourhoods. This situation has led to a significant increase in housing costs, pricing out locals who are being forced to leave their historic cities. Unfortunately, overtourism is turning these cities into open-air museums, which are unable to accommodate both residents and the sheer volume of visitors. In this article, we'll explore 10 European destinations that are at risk of being destroyed by overtourism, and examine the measures being taken to counteract this growing problem. Number 10. Iceland. Iceland, though not a city but a country, is also at risk of being overwhelmed by tourism. With a population of just over 3,800,000, Iceland attracted over 2.3 million tourists in 2024, creating significant pressure on its fragile natural sites. Some of these sites, such as a popular canyon made famous by a Justin Bieber music video, have been overrun by tourists, leading to environmental degradation. However, the Icelandic government is attempting to address this issue before it becomes too severe, with various initiatives to protect the country's unique landscapes. Number 9. Athens, Greece. Athens is another European city suffering from the effects of overtourism. The Greek capital welcomed 7 million tourists in 2023, leading to significant changes in the city's character. Many of Athens' historic neighbourhoods are becoming increasingly dominated by tourists, driving up housing prices and pushing locals out of their homes. We're not alone. Certain areas, like Kokaki, are now almost entirely composed of short-term rental apartments, and locals are increasingly priced out. To mitigate the impact of overtourism, Athens has introduced a daily visitor limit to the Acropolis, restricting access to 200 tourists per day, spread across 3 time slots. This measure will soon be extended to other major archaeological sites in Greece. Number 8. Dubrovnik, Croatia. Dubrovnik, known for its stunning old town, is often cited as the world's most overcrowded city when it comes to tourist density. With a population of just over 41000 people, the city welcomed nearly 1.5 million tourists in 2019, resulting in a tourist-to-resident ratio of about 36:1. The city's popularity has been partly driven by the filming of Game of Thrones. However, the massive influx of visitors has led to overcrowding, noise pollution, and damage to the city's cultural heritage. In response, Dubrovnik has introduced measures such as limiting the number of visitors entering the historic centre at any one time, and introducing silent electric vehicles to transport luggage, helping to mitigate the noise pollution caused by tourism. Number 7. Rome, Italy. Rome, Italy's historical capital, is also grappling with the impacts of overtourism. Some claim that the city has morphed from being Italy's political capital into an amusement park, with its historic centre often overrun by tourists and various types of transport, including golf carts, sidecars, and scooters. The Spanish Steps, which became famous in the 1953 film Roman Holiday, have suffered extensive damage from the thousands of tourists who visit them every day. Wine stains, gum residue, and vandalism have become common, leading to expensive restoration efforts. Similarly, other landmarks like the Colosseum are frequently damaged by tourists, with pieces stolen or graffiti etched into the ancient structure. Number 6. Barcelona, Spain. In July 2024, Barcelona was the site of a large protest against overtourism, with demonstrators declaring, "Barcelona is not for sale," and calling for an end to the city's tourism-driven transformation. The skyrocketing cost of housing in the city is one of the most significant issues, as short-term rentals have displaced many local residents. To tackle this problem, the mayor has proposed increasing taxes for cruise tourists staying in the city for less than 12 hours. Additionally, Barcelona intends to gradually reduce the number of short-term rental properties by not renewing licenses for over 100,000 apartments. By 2029, the city aims to return to a model where only traditional hotels and bed and breakfasts are available for tourists. Number 5. Holstadt, Austria. Holstadt, an idyllic village in Austria, has become a victim of over-tourism, partly due to its inclusion on UNESCO's World Heritage List. However, the real catalyst for the surge in visitors has been social media, especially Instagram. The village's resemblance to the town featured in Disney's Frozen also helped attract attention, leading to the construction of a replica of Holstadt in China. Despite its small size and population of fewer than 1,000 residents, Holstadt receives over 1 million tourists annually. To combat over-tourism, the local community has implemented measures such as limiting the number of cars and buses allowed into the village each day, as well as erecting anti-selfie barriers. Residents have even organised secret markets in quieter areas to preserve their sense of community and minimise disruption caused by tourists. Number 4. Paris, France. Paris, the French capital, remains one of the most visited cities in the world, attracting over 15.5 million visitors in 2023. While tourism brings wealth to the city, it also exacerbates issues such as the housing crisis, as more and more property owners opt to rent their homes to tourists rather than to long-term residents. This has resulted in rising rents, making it increasingly difficult for Parisians to live in their own city. However, Paris is not the only French city suffering from over-tourism. The small village of Étretat, which gained international fame thanks to the Netflix series Lupin, now faces the challenge of accommodating up to 1,000 visitors a day, putting pressure on its fragile infrastructure. Similarly, the renowned Mont Saint-Michel has seen a surge in tourism, with up to 360,000 visitors arriving daily during peak season, posing risks to its environment and heritage. The French government is actively monitoring the situation, but authorities admit that there is a lack of sufficient data to manage the situation effectively. Number 3. Santorini, Greece. Even smaller towns and islands are not immune to the effects of over-tourism, with Santorini in Greece being a prime example. The picturesque island, known for its whitewashed buildings and stunning views, has a population of just 1,500 people. Yet, on some weekends, it receives over 1,700 visitors. In 2023 alone, Santorini welcomed over 3 million tourists, including 800 cruise ships. This influx has put a strain on the island's infrastructure and environment. In an effort to control the situation, the mayor of Fira, the island's capital, has limited the number of cruise ship tourists allowed to disembark each day to 8,000. Additionally, the municipality has put a stop to the opening of new accommodations, including both large hotels and short-term rentals, via platforms like Airbnb. Number 2. Amsterdam, Netherlands. Amsterdam, another European city struggling with over-tourism, has decided to ban cruise ships. Currently, the city allows 190 ships to dock at the passenger terminal Amsterdam, but by 2026, this number will drop to just 100, and by 2035, no ships will be allowed to dock at all. While the number of tourists is a concern, Amsterdam also faces challenges related to the type of tourism it attracts. The city's red light districts and cannabis consumption areas have drawn a specific kind of tourist, which has resulted in some businesses exploiting Amsterdam's image to promote debauchery. In response, the city has launched the Stay Away campaign to disrupt the local community. This campaign targets tourists searching for cheap hotels, bachelor parties, and pub crawls in Amsterdam by warning them of the consequences of excessive alcohol consumption and disruptive behaviour. And number 1, Venice, Italy. Venice, once a thriving city, is now increasingly unlivable due to the rising number of tourists. The impact of mass tourism is particularly evident in the fact that approximately 1,200 residents leave Venice each year, more than 3 per day. The city is becoming a ghost town, increasingly filled with vacation homes, resorts, and second homes, turning it more into an attraction than a real community. As a result, tourists often treat Venice like an open-air museum, with some even asking when the city closes, oblivious to the fact that it is home to real people. Venetians have raised concerns about the chaos and dirt caused by tourism, including the sale of 50 million plastic bottles annually, many of which end up discarded on the streets or in the canals. In response, the local authorities have introduced measures such as a €5 entrance fee for tourists and limitations on the size of tourist groups. Additionally, the city has banned large cruise ships from approaching its shores in an effort to protect its fragile infrastructure. Across Europe, cities and towns are struggling with the pressures of over-tourism. While the economic benefits of tourism are undeniable, the social, cultural, and environmental costs are mounting. From Venice to Iceland, each destination faces unique challenges, but the common thread is the need for responsible tourism management. Authorities are implementing measures to limit the number of visitors, regulate tourism activities, and protect local communities. It is crucial that both locals and tourists work together to preserve the charm and integrity of these iconic European destinations for future generations.